Alright, got a Dredge matchup. So, opening hand is pretty good. I'll keep that one. And I want to say my opponent kept his hand. Opponent won the die roll and is going first. So, I go with this opener because I'm trying to dig into bridge or, whatever. And Lantern just gives my opponent information. I already have 2 lanterns, so I don't have to worry about them discarding anything. So, yep. So there's Dredge. So I'm going to look at my top card. And what? I forget what it was. I know I saw it. It was an Abrupt Decay, I believe. So I'll draw my extra card. Play out my Lantern. Also got a Whir, so that's going to be good. And go ahead and play my Stirrings because I'm trying to dig to that Grafdigger's Cage or something, Yeah, and I was trying to think what I was going to do there. There was a Cathartic Reunion, and I didn't want my opponent to have a really good opener here, because that is pretty good. I'm trying to slow them down a little bit. And they still play it pretty well. Getting all sorts of, their Dredge stuff going on. So here, I misplay. What I should have done is play the Inventor's Fair. That's what I should have done. And I think I end up losing the opponent misplays, I let them take it back. So the opponent ends up winning the game because of that. But if I had not misplayed here, I would have won the game. But either way, I should have played the fair here, because what I was thinking was to Grafdigger's Cage. But in hindsight, after I played the land, I was like, oh yeah, I should probably, if I go get a bridge now, I mean, I can't get a bridge for one. I can't get if I get a Grafdigger's Cage, it's already too late for that. So what I need to do is get a bridge as soon as possible. So I can't work for a bridge now, so I need to play out the rest of my hand. In which case, if I play Inventor's Fair here, then what I'll be able to do is gain 1 extra life next turn. It would basically it's the exact same thing. I just gain a life. But I already made the mistake, so what I decided to try to do here is yeah, we're getting pretty good here. I'm going to be able to get the bridge, and then I just have to worry about the conflag rate, whatever. And they are down to 14 cards already. So if I can mill out those 14 cards before they can build up the cards in hand to deal me the damage, but they do have 2 life from the loams. And go ahead and try to mill them. During my upkeep, I decide to whir for the bridge in the hopes that I'll draw another mill rock or a Grafdiggers or something. And I don't. I just there's a land on top. I go to Pixis it, another land. So at this point, I would have been at 10. Go down to, yeah. They're building up the cards that they need to get me next turn. And I'm trying to dig to a Grafdigger's Cage or something. Unfortunately, I will not be able to pop. There's a Opal on top. Now, if Shores came in untapped, I'd be able to sack Fair, go get Cage, and just win. Unfortunately, Shores does not come into play untapped. So I just let it happen. Now here, what the opponent should have done was dredge back life from the loam, then cast life from the loam and kill me. And so 1, 2, 3, yeah. Yep, puts me at 1. Actually, even if I gained that life, I guess I would have lost because it would have been 2 more damage. Maybe. So here I'm thinking if I want to mill them or what, go ahead and go grab that Grafdigger's Cage, and that would be game. And opponent's like, well, crap. I'm going to let them draw that because they can't even play it. So I tell them what they probably should have done. So they discarded 8. If they had 7, 8, if they had played at it replaces itself 9, 10. Yeah, they still would have won even if I gained that life. Okay, so we go to game 2, and I crap. Come on now. So yeah, they're like next one. So I tell them like it's cool. We can just play like that he won last game, or he or she won last game, just to play it out for the benefit of the doubt. It's something I like about Cockatrice over like Magic the Gathering Online, because Magic the Gathering Online, um, they misplayed, they misplay. There's no taking it back. For this, I can we can take back plays and whatnot so I get actual like good data instead of just a bunch of misplayed data. So yeah, opener with Cage, pretty good. And I didn't want my opponent to know I had this, and I'm trying to build up the 3 blue mana I need for Whir. Now, they wait to pop the decay, because what they want to do is end of my turn, decay, and then be able to reunion. Now, if they try to reunion now, then they can't get the full effect out of it because they won't be able to do all the dredging and all that. So they go to decay. In response, I'm going to Whir for a jar. Yep. Go ahead and get a good look at their opening hand. Unfortunately, I'm just top decking a bunch of lands now. And I believe I grabbed the Amalgam because that's the thing that deals the most damage. And they have the fetch land to play it. And I play out the ruins so that if I need to, I can go ahead and do this whole jar thing. On land, so let's say, yeah, Conflagrate. All sorts of mana. So there's a Nature's Claim on top. And I go to get, I think I messed up here. Yeah, I put it directly into play. I'm like, wait. I can't do that. Hold on. It's in my hand. So I go ahead and go to mill it. They sack their dude to draw it in response. Now, if they draw this and make me gain life, then it's okay, because I'll just gain life. They only have 3 damage on board. And they don't have a way quite yet. They don't have a Dredger in the graveyard, so they don't have a way to get Amalgam back into play. So I'm not too worried about it. I'll actually gain a life off of this. And net 1. Now the problem is that ends up making it so they mill a Dredge. I could have shuffled in response to that, which I probably should have done in hindsight. But I don't know. I'm still doing pretty decent. So I go ahead and what I'm thinking here is I'll Stirrings, and I'll pass priority. Now if they don't do anything like do the Nature's Claim in response, then I could grab another cage, or I could I guess Nature's Claim in response doesn't matter, but if I get a jar or something, so in response they decide to claim, which is fine. So in response to my Stirrings, I'm going to put the cage back on top. So I'm letting them decide whether or not they want to grudge in response to me grabbing this cage. I'm trying to tell my opponent, like, don't reveal the top anymore. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess, but. So I go for the stirrings, and I end up seeing were and lands, if I remember correctly. Yeah, were and lands. So I grab a land. So plan here is to sack Shredder if I can, get back were, and get a bridge. Go ahead and put jar back on top, and then go get my bridge. I'm thinking this should keep me alive long enough. Yeah, so there's they go to Faithless Looting. There's an Abrupt Decay on top, so I make them shuffle in response. And they draw dead cards for the most part. Now they do still have a game plan. They can try to conflagrate me for 7. They can build up the mana to do it. So I'm going to put Lantern back on top again. Still good. Shredder on top. Now what I really want to do is to sack. I know they're trying to build up the mana to conflagrate me. So what I want to do now is sack my Shredder, get back were for Witchbane Orb. I'm not too worried about the claim because I already neutralized it. They do have some unknown cards in hand. I wasn't quite sure about what they had in hand. All the cards. So I was worried they had another artifact destruction spell, but I wasn't sure. And did they have? No more grudges in there. So I was worried they had another artifact destruction spell. So if they had 2, then yeah, I'm in trouble. But I was like, what are the chances, and even if they do destroy an artifact, I'll be okay because I'll gain 4 life. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll take 2 damage overall. And then I get the artifact right back. If they don't destroy the artifact immediately, I get to were, and I'll be fine. So I don't need to sack the Shredder for the were since I have one on top and they didn't do anything, so I'll just draw the were. Go to were in response. They can't. It's conflagrates a sorcery, so I'm good here. And I get my Witchbane Orb. And opponent concedes. And it's game 3 because they should have won game 1. So, game 3, whew, good hand. And they do have a decay in their opener, so they're okay. I see they're setting up for the quick here, so that means I do absolutely need to play the cage. So now they can't get the trigger off immediately. They have to destroy cage first, which is fine because that is going to slow them down enough, or at least for a turn. So I'll go in stirrings for a second cage if I can. I'll only run 2 at post board against Dredge. And I don't see a cage, but I do see a bridge, so I'll go ahead and grab that. I don't need lands, so go ahead and fix this, see if I can't get some ancient grudges off. And they go do Dredge. Now what's interesting is my opponent has a game plan now. They can use Ghost Quarter and Life from the Loam to try to cut me off of all my lands. There's an opal, so that's going to stop that plan. Go ahead and play my bridge out. So now they're going to start to try to cut me off of lands. It's fine. I'm not going to search because I want that bridge on top. I'll go ahead and play out my bridge just in case, because I had a choice here: either play the second bridge or play these 2. I wasn't sure if they had another artifact destruction spell. So I decide I'll take 6 damage, and if I played this out, I have a choice. I can either take no damage and risk taking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or I can take 6 damage and have no risk. So I go for the no risk and just take 6. I do go for the search because I don't really need an obel. I don't want that Witchbane orb. I want to empty my hand, and I'm not going to be able to empty a Witchbane orb anytime soon. So I go ahead and get rid of that. Thoughtseize, and since they're tapped out, make sure they don't have any artifact destruction. I believe I take the Neonate so they can't draw at instant speed to get around the lock. Come on now. Yep. And play out this because I want to try to mill myself into cage. Opponent's still trying to cut me off. Now, since they're tapped out, I want to, in response, exile the top card because I don't want them to be able to try to use that to draw. Or what was it? Was it a Grudge on top? I can't remember. Yeah, Grudge on top. So in response, I don't want them to be able to draw at all. So or Dredge or do anything where they might be able to get that Grudge in the graveyard. I'm thinking about whether I want to search here, and I decide I do. Fail to find, and there's a jar on top, which is super good for me. So I can just play out my hand now. So now I just need to, I want to get my second cage if I can. And I'll save myself from Conflagrate. I could have milled this, but I'm not too worried about these because I figure I can just mill in response, and I have so much to save myself from Ancient Grudge. Yeah, there's one already under the Pixis, so I don't have to worry about that. So they got one Grudge left. And even if they draw the Grudge, I have basically 3 Grudges, so I'm okay. But every time they draw a card, it's going to help me out. Yep. Let it happen. And now they do have the other Grudge in the graveyard. I believe all of their artifact destruction is now in the graveyard, if I remember correctly. So milling, trying to mill them out so that they don't have the opportunity to conflagrate me. Yeah, just draw it. So here's where the opponent needs to, so the correct play here, yep, get those 3, do another Life from the Loam, if I remember correctly. Nope. Well, oh no, because if they do another Life from the Loam, then all that's going to happen is they have to discard down, so it's not going to matter. So they need to set up for the next Life from the Loam. What was that? Okay, good. So still trying to mill them. So correct choice here. So they missed a land drop. Both of us make a misplay here. If both of us play perfectly, I still win. So either way, like if you're a Dredge player, then you can learn from this. You know, if you're a Lantern player, you can learn from this. So looking at the graveyard, they got 2 Loams in the graveyard. They cannot dredge back a Loam. They have both Loams in the hand, which keeping track should know this. But I see that they didn't play a land. I figure they were trying to build up enough sources to. They want to keep cards in hand and discard them all for the Conflagrate to kill me. And that's not going to be enough. So what they needed to do was play a land so they can next turn just draw a card, life from the loam, life from the loam, get 6 more cards. So they'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? I think so. Let's see. Let's see. So if they play a land here, um, that leaves them with 6 cards in hand. Next turn, they draw a card, 7 cards in hand. Life from the loam, go up to 9. Life the loam, go up to 11, and they have to play a land, so go to 10. Wow, I didn't even, yeah. So if you see my math is wrong, please correct me. But it looks like even if they had played correctly, I still, like perfectly, I still would have won even without what I do here. So what I can do here is just draw this Inquisition and make them discard their life from the loam. And they don't have enough to win. They can't dredge back life from the loam. I still win. So we go over it. And what I end up doing is this, because I'm like, well, they can't life from the loam twice. I win. Let's just get it over with and mill. And I'm thinking that I'll just, like, I'm not sure if they have some other trick that I don't know about. And so I make myself shuffle away that Inquisition. I'm thinking, like, either way, I just mill and I'm good. So 7. But if they play a land, they'll have 6. Draw, they'll have 7. Get rid of loam to get 3 lands. The 8, 9. Have to play another, yeah, still not enough. Yeah. So either we're going through the math here, and apparently both of us suck at math. And so either way, I'm pretty sure I still win, no matter what. But again, if you're watching this and you see that I'm making a mistake in my math, please correct me in the comments. But again, I think the correct play there was just draw Inquisition and make them discard life from the loam, even if they have some out. So, all right.